Hello, professor and classmates. This is video forum number 9, Gender Equity in Latin America and Gender Equity in Costa Rica. The first question of this video forum says, think about what you have learned with the readings and ponder whether we achieve gender equity in Costa Rica or in Latin America. What is one of the significant steps toward it that Costa Rica has taken? Okay, according to one of the articles that I searched, it defines gender equity um, according to the European Institute for Gender Equality as the provision of fairness and justice in the distribution of benefits and responsibilities between women, men, and all the genders. So, for me, in my own words, gender equity is to provide women and men the same opportunities in the same areas, but giving them all that they need according to their specific necessities or specific characteristics. Why the gender equity is important? Okay, it is important because when we achieve gender equity, we respect people. We don't discriminate against them, against their gender. Also, you eliminate gender inequalities, and that when you avoid or eliminate gender inequalities, you can bring them the access to achieve their goals, access to more opportunities like health, education, and all of these that is necessary to have high quality of life. And so there are a lot of types of gender equity that can we talk about, like gender equity at home, in the workplace, in the school, and the sports, and healthcare, and social benefits, and etc. um, According to the question of the video forum that says, like, thinking about Costa Rica, what do you think, or what do you ponder that we achieve as a country in this topic? Well, I think the Costa Rica in the last year made a lot of changes in order to have gender equity in all the areas, especially in the workplace. And this is something very important because in the past, women's are not allowed to have important positions into the companies, but this is something that is changing nowadays because now we see more women's taking some high positions in companies or even in the government. So I think this is one of the things that Costa Rica achieved in this gender equity. Also, I think that even when we have a lot of laws that protect gender equity and opportunities and campaigns, I think there is still a lot of work to do because today we're suffering a lot of feminicides, and I think this is something that I've been personally worried about because I think there is a huge gap um, in security according to gender equity because women's are being treated in a bad way, suffer for sexual harassment, violence, murders. And I think this is a huge topic that we need to take about and take into the table to reform of the laws that we already have, because we cannot talk about gender inequality or gender equity when our women's are dying. So I think this is something that we need to improve, and we need to search the way in how we can protect the women's lives. um, I think this is the most important thing that we need to do right now, because as I said, I think the Costa Rica in the last year made a lot of changes that it is something positive, because in the past gender equity wasn't even a topic, and now it's something that is more visible. We speak more about that, and it's something very important, because if you don't speak about the things, or you are not aware about all these rights that has been eliminated, or women do not have access to it to them, um, so they prefer to assume that they don't have these rights. But now if you speak, you can be aware of that. So I think in Latin America there are a lot of things that are changing. As an example, I can see women like presidents of countries, and this is a big step for gender equity. Women's having high positions in governments, as I said before. Also, women's have a lot of support in sport, and they have been very successful in these areas, and also in areas like scientists. As an example, we have Sandra Kaufman, who is a scientist, like that she works for NASA, and it is very, very important for us to teach the little girls that they can have the opportunity to work in a high companies and high positions like she does. So I think in all Latin America, gender equity have a more positive way, because as Latin American countries, most of the countries have like chauvinist culture. So was very it's very important that all this way of thinking is changing right now. So I think that we achieve a lot of positive changes, but at the same time we need to do more in order to really have a gender equity. And as I said before, especially with the laws that protect women lives, and also all the laws that are necessary in order to protect the life of the people, of the citizens, because not just only women die, also men, also people or from the LGBTQR community. So I think that is very important that everyone have the same rights, the same opportunity in order to achieve their goals and have a better life quality. Thank you.